What's up, everybody? You are tuned in to the Output with DJ Unprotected, featuring me as your host. We've got an awesome episode this week as we continue to talk about things related to Halloween, but it's not all dark and grim. Even though 2020 has been less than loving to everyone, I think we can all agree on that. We've got a wonderful menu for you this episode. Of course, there's more Halloween talk. There's going to be some inside secrets to online dating. Yep. There's going to be some tech talk because Big Apple's big event this week made me happy. And then we're going to wrap up the episode with some music tracks that have been pumping my speakers throughout this week. Now, let's get into it. But real quick, you guys, if you have been enjoying this show and appreciating the content, please hit the like button wherever you are listening. I seriously appreciate it. And subscribe and support this podcast if you can. Especially check us out on YouTube. Just look up The Output with DJ Unprotected. You can see all my episodes. Subscribe to the Aztec Nation channel so you don't miss any future episodes. And you get to see my pretty face on camera. All right. Another quick favor. If you got 3 seconds to rate this podcast, I want to know how I'm doing. So please be honest. Hook me up with that small little favor, and I promise you, as we get more subscribers, there's going to be some benefits to the likes and love that you guys bring to me. All right, so whether you're listening on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google, I'm everywhere. Just take a moment, give me a rating. I really appreciate it. It's too easy to hit 3 stars or 5 stars, although I very much appreciate 5 stars. Okay, so that's the intro spiel. Let's not forget this show's intriguing question. All right, and here it is. What's the sexiest and least sexy name? All right, so I probably could have went less random on this one, but you know what? I'll play along with it. The least sexiest and least sexy name. I got this. Hang out till the end, and you shall find out. I promise. That's a good question, right? Now, for all of you relationships, okay, you know the deal with this one. One of them should be your significant other's name. I'm just saying, all right? But hey, who am I to give advice on that? And you know that eventually in the show we're going to talk about dating. But first up, we've got Halloween conversation. Absolutely, okay? So we're going to roll into this, and my question is, are alien-themed movies considered Halloweenish? I mean, it's a topic worth thinking about and discussing. You know, can you imagine like seeing Independence Day movie on Halloween? Probably not. What about the Alien series during Halloween? You know, get yourselves a little bit of a Captain Ridley and, or Commander Ridley and see what's going on. You know, I love the Alien series. I think they're gory and scary. So it's quite possible it could be a Halloween movie. I'm just not 100% sure. All right, what about Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Not sure about that one, just because it's more like weird. It's got, I don't know, the long theatrical moments when they're at the runway and the aliens are sending signals, and I think it's more happy at the end to be like they brought all the people back. So I'm not sure about that one, okay, because there are some weird parts about it. All right. What about Signs? You know, the one by Shyamalan, whatever. M. Night Shyamalan. Now, could Signs be it? Pretty creepy movie, let's be honest. All right, Mel Gibson was absolutely great in it, but that's a creepy movie. So is that a Halloween one? I might consider that one, okay? Now, this next one, all right, is a movie that if you've seen it, you know it. I have not talked to one person yet who's seen this movie and was like, that wasn't weird, or they weren't creeped out about it, okay? And the movie I'm talking about that I think could absolutely 110% be played on Halloween and nobody would be like, why the fuck is this on my TV? And that is The Fourth Kind. Yes, okay? Who's seen that movie? Like, let me get a jaw drop. Dude, that movie is beyond creepy, okay? And it's based on real events. Now, allegedly, they have this big intro to that movie. So if you haven't seen it, I'm not trying to spoil it for you, but in the beginning, I think it's Uma Thurman is in it. They give this intro saying, hey, this is based on real events, but we're not trying to persuade you to make you think one way or another. Now, they do show real footage of what had happened. So she portrays this doctor who does like hypnosis, but they show real clips of the doctor doing the hypnosis with her patients to find out like what they're struggling with. So in the beginning of the movie, Uma Thurman, like I'm pretty sure it's her, gives this like spiel, this talk like, hey, you can believe it. It's entirely up to you. We're not trying to persuade you either way. Okay, but here's the thing. That movie is about an area in Alaska, okay, that is like, not all the way up near the farthest point, but it's still in a creepy area that you can only get to by taking a small plane. And I watched this while I was living in Alaska. Okay, and then just to paint the picture for you, right? It was in the fall or winter. Okay, I was working mid shift, so I was generally working from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and I happened to be off. I think so. I was off, so it was late at night, like 9 p.m. at night. All right, it was like really dark out anyway. I mean, as we transition in Alaska, as you're transitioning into winter, it's dark most of the time. Okay. But anyway, I was bored, and I was definitely known most of the time to watch really crazy movies like The Human Centipede, all that shit, while I was on mids at night, not being able to sleep. So this time, watching The Fourth Kind, because someone had talked about it, total bad idea. All right, I watched that movie. I didn't sleep with the lights off for like 3 weeks, and I'm not even kidding. Like, seriously, holy shit. Like, who else saw that movie? Okay, I might have to watch it again, because for the science. Because there was a couple clips in there that apparently were real, and like this dude. All right, so listen, I'll kind of tell you, right? It's about like these aliens doing abduction, but the people don't really remember. They just know that they were tortured, and they remember seeing this white owl, and that's all they could remember. But they wanted to find out like what was bothering them, so that's why she would put them in hypnosis and kind of find out like what would trigger them, and then they would start like freaking out and panicking. Well, this one guy, right, all of a sudden it was like defying physics, and he was doing the whole demonic floating in the air thing, and like in the real footage, like when the aliens, I guess like I don't know, like the fourth kind, right, aliens were possessing him, like who knows, all of a sudden the video gets static, and this is the real footage from the doctor. Not the movie remake, but the real footage, and then whatever. Again, you believe what you want. But he's like floating up in the air, like doing that levitating thing, and then all of a sudden his like face becomes like all demonically distorted, and he's screaming. It is just nuts. Like, I'm totally creepy. Like, and yeah, I think about like if this doctor is still around. So in the movie, at the end of the movie, because of what she was doing to help, kind of the patients, there was like she had some physical, I forget what had happened to her, if she was trying to protect somebody or she herself got, like, I don't know, probed, possessed, whatever these aliens were doing, she got it somehow, and it had like terrible effects on her body. And like at the end of the movie, they were showing an interview with her, and she's in like this mobile wheelchair, okay, that like one of those electronic ones, and she's like, I mean, it really took a toll on her body. So I wonder if she's still around, and it was just crazy, man, like how the real footage, these aliens were doing like this EMP of like blocking the transmission. So like 1 minute the camera's fine, the next minute the video is just like, looks like you're trying to watch HBO like back in the 90s when you didn't have HBO, and that's what it looked like. It was just crazy. Like, what were they doing? So, and next to that, like, if you're questioning if something like that is real other than just scaring the shit out of you, like, is it possible that aliens could exist, and are they more advanced than us? Now, okay, to step back away from like this sci-fi and, scary horror stuff. Like if you look at the science of things, like carbon is the base form of life, and like maybe we are the only advanced planet right now, and the only reason we haven't seen other, life forms coming to Earth or whatnot is because maybe they aren't advanced yet, or maybe they've advanced way too far and ended up killing themselves, like, through a nuclear or atomic war. I'm sure that if they're advanced civilization, they know about weapons and all that stuff. Now, I don't think it's pure sci-fi like Independence Day and like that crazy type of, I don't know, napalm shit they were dropping, but I don't know. It could be possible. It's kind of creepy. Like, I don't know if I had to weigh the two, if I was going to be probed, molested, studied by aliens, or possessed by a demon, I'm not sure. Like, both outcomes are pretty fucking terrible. In that movie, anyone possessed by the aliens either killed their whole family, committed suicide, or just died because they were crippled. Demonic stuff, like they end up just dying. Their body just falls to shit. I don't know. So if I had the choice, maybe I'd go with the aliens because it's not demonic and it's not in the spiritual realm. You just had another physical being that totally violated you, and they've got their own issues to deal with when they meet their maker. Okay. So yeah, if I had to choose, I would totally accept being probed by aliens. And I know that's weird to admit, but considering the two options, I would take that. Maybe they would just like not probe us the way that South Park and everybody else talks about, but maybe probe us through like something with the brain. I don't know. Who knows? But this movie, okay, that The Fourth Kind is really creepy and shows how aliens come to Earth and really messed up a lot of people that were involved in it. Now, the other part of this is like, if you had a traumatic event happen to you and you don't really remember, but when you're sleeping, some things trigger and kind of put you in a panic. If you spend the majority of your time not remembering this bad event, would you want to be hypnotized? I don't know. I don't think I would. I don't want anything to trigger like having to remember a bad event all the time. And if that happened, my doctor might get punched. I'm just saying, like, don't hypnotize me to bring back a bad thing and to make me feel like I'm in that moment. That's not a good thing, man. Reactionary, fight or flight. I think in that position, most people would probably knock somebody out. Like panic. Like in a movie, the one dude, it happened to him. He ended up wasting his whole family later. It's pretty sad. That actually really did happen. You can see police reports on that. Who knows why he did it. But yeah, the movie completely messed up. So The Fourth Kind, I don't know. What's your verdict? You let me know. Are alien movies Halloween appropriate or just specific, really creepy ones and scary ones like The Fourth Kind or like Signs that are kind of like borderline demonic, possessive, murderous, weird, creep you out, you want the lights on, all that jazz. So I'm interested in what you've got to say. Hit me up on Twitter or any of the socials. Just hit me up at DJ Unprotected. I want to know what you think. And is it worth me watching The Fourth Kind again this week so that I can just be scared and then tell you guys about it next week, how all my lights are always on? I don't know. Another topic that is very scary is dating. Yes, thank you. Wonderful transition. I do know this. But I need to get a drink, so stand by for... There definitely won't be any music, but, why not? Okay, dating in a pandemic. It's weird, and the online game is wildly crowded, and it's definitely overcrowded. Like, I live in San Antonio. San Antonio's got like, I think 1.7 million people. Okay, now right now that not a lot of people are getting out. Some people have been in a long time rut. Very much dry season for a lot of people. So yes, they're thirsty on the dating app. So numbers are crazy right now. Like I can only imagine, okay, even in the city, pre-pandemic, when you're getting on something like Tinder or whatever, you are in a field of hundreds of thousands of fish. And, now it's just completely different. So I haven't had much luck with Tinder and Hinge since I got on, I think around end of March or early April. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about it. It has just been more of a time waster. But a few years ago, okay, consecutively, I had some good luck and enjoyed some of the dates that I had on Bumble app, So why am I not on Bumble now, right? If it worked for me before, why reinvent the wheel and try something else different? Well, I met a few of my ex-girlfriends on Bumble, and I'm not trying to have them see my profile on there. Like, part of me is like, fuck it, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But the other part of me is like, it always can trigger because I don't know, if we didn't end it on the right type of terms that you would think it would, like, who knows, then you might get like those weird late night text messages or out of the blue messages, or whatever. Like, who knows? I don't know. I can't speak for other people. I don't do it, but that has happened to me and it's annoying, So I think I'll hop on Bumble. I'm not a fan of like Hinge and, Hinge, I don't really like. I think it's like worse than Tinder. It tries to like, match you up with people. We've talked about this, but any type of dating messaging service to me seems like a waste of time when you have to push out messages, okay? And you don't even know if they're going to respond back. So, or you're swiping and hoping that you get a match. But here's the thing, you could even match on those ones message and maybe they don't hit you back. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, like if you took something like Tinder and say, I don't know, you match with, say, 10 people and you send out messages to all 10. Well, there's only a percentage, so maybe, okay, it could be either a 30% or a 70% return rate depending on the messages that you send. And then even out of that, there's even a small percentage that you'll even have a chance of going on a date on. So if 10 people, you send 10 messages, 3 of them respond back, okay? And then out of those 3, maybe you'll land a date with one of them. All right. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, like maybe you don't got game. No, I'm good at this, okay? I am very good at being single, all right? So I'm bringing this stuff on because, that stuff is like a time waster, and I'm going to get more into that here in a second. But I think I'll make a profile this week because I do think it's important to stay in the game so you don't lose it. Like, if you mess around and don't talk to anybody on dating apps for too long, like you come out of practice and then you end up coming off lame and desperate by accident and saying things you shouldn't normally say. And, who knows? Like, you know how it is. I mean, have you ever had a friend who was married for a long time and then they got divorced and then they're fresh on the scene and you go out with them and they're like the world's terrible wingman or wingwoman because they're like out of practice of game. They don't know how to talk to people. The confidence isn't there. They were used to hitting on their significant other for that long period of time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's just I think you got to stay with it, keep in practice and don't put too much effort into it. And so there's one more thing on this that I want to discuss. Women, okay, not all, but some women complain that guys don't put effort into their first messages or any of their messages. Well, you are right. Okay, I'm putting that out there, and I'm saying the most valuable words that any man can say to a woman is, you're right. We don't. And here's why we don't. Because some women on dating apps just want attention and end up wasting our time. For example, I was chatting with a prospect recently, thankfully for not too long, but it seemed like there were commonalities. Like, it was after a few days. We liked the same thing, like live music. We liked pizza, wanted to travel, had liked the similar things about, like, say, Vegas, New York, whatever. Like, there were some great commonalities to it, the type of movies we like to watch, so it was cool, like vibing, easy, fun conversations. But then after a few days, all of a sudden they unmatch. Okay. Now, it's not because I don't have game, but it's different. Like, they just unmatch. Like, you never know why they unmatch. It could be that they maybe just got out of a relationship or finished dating, broke up with somebody, or they were kind of taking a break from dating someone, and then they were still in their back pocket. They're just on there to get attention. I don't know, but it happens, and then they're like, okay, well, that other person's back in. I'm just deleting them. Or maybe they just don't like people's certain careers. Like maybe for me, they don't like my real job. And then maybe they look at like, okay, here's someone who's into music, and anyone who's into music is probably a struggling musician. So I don't know what they look at, but that type of shit, it's a time waster, okay? So why would us guys take the time to think of intriguing questions or ways to find out like serious commonalities or find out about them if we're just going to waste our time? Like, you know what? I've come to this conclusion that until the first meetup, whether it's virtual or in person, I'm sticking with small talk, because you women have brought this on yourself by talking for a few days, hearing something you don't like, and then just bounce. I could totally take it. Okay, this would be a different conversation if the women were like, hey, listen, you know what? Like, I'm not into X, Y, and Z, so I don't think this is a good match. Like, okay, makes sense to me. They could bounce all they want. And I'd be like, you know what? That was cool. Hey, sometimes they dig it, sometimes they don't. At least they told me. But then you know. So from now on, I'm sticking with small talk like, how's your week? Any fun plans this weekend? Doing anything for the holidays? If you're going to pack a lunch, what's the one thing you'll make sure is in your lunchbox? Okay, that one's actually a pretty good one. So you're welcome. And yeah, maybe I won't use that one right away. Okay, that's actually a pretty good one. Like, I'd probably want to make sure I at least had a banana or apple, because I love having fruit with my lunch. Anyway, you get it, okay? That's why guys don't put a lot of effort into the messages, because women can waste our time and we're like, what's the point? So you're just going to get the lame questions of, hey, what have you been up to? You know what I'm saying? Till the first virtual meet, then I might care a little bit more, all right? But again, who knows? It's all a crapshoot, having fun. We'll see. Really seriously considering signing up for Bumble and ditching Hinge, cutting that shit out. So I'll put a profile together and see what happens. And of course, I will keep you all updated. I will let you know what goes down, okay? Man, you're welcome. So many insider secrets in this episode. Going hard, okay, this week. I'm getting a drink because I think I talked for like 12 minutes straight. I'm really thirsty. Someone asked me, hey, what do you drink on your podcast? Well, right now it's just a couple Miller Lights. I got to go for probably a 3-mile run in the morning. So got to hydrate, kind of carb up. Not a lot of carbs in these things. Okay, speaking of beer, and before we go to this next topic, this weekend went out with some friends to celebrate my buddy's wife birthday, and it was really cool at this place in San Antonio called Chicken and Pickle. Super dope spot, like huge outdoor venue, also inside seating. I mean, we went on Sunday to watch football, and it was really great, you know, to kind of party and be safe at the same time. Like, nobody was really crowding you, so it was pretty dope. But I will tell you what, I drank a metric ton of beer that day. Oh man, I've like not been that unproductive on a Monday like that in a very long time. And I was a holiday, I was hurting. I mean, the type of hurting where I would get up, you know what I'm saying, like have a cup of coffee and then go to the sink to rinse it out. And after I rinse it, I'd be hungry, but I didn't have the energy to like cook, so I would mosey back to the couch. Then I would go back. I would like grab the frying pan, put it on the stove, spray some shit on it, turn it on, and then go back and lay on the couch for a moment until I felt like the pan was heated up. It was rough. I'm just telling you, ooh, it hurt. It's been a while since I felt that way. If the health bars were open and I could go and, you know, get an IV, I would have gotten an IV or some oxygen. Like, I really needed it. Oh my goodness. I couldn't drink enough of those liquid IVs. I think I had 2 that day. Man, I was just like trying to get myself back together, like hangover remedies out the thing. Like, I was drinking this swamp water stuff, and then I drank obviously the liquid IVs, and then I drank probably a jar of pickle juice. I was like, I gotta clear this out. I have not felt like that maybe a year. I don't know. It's been a while. It was definitely like pre-COVID last time I felt like that. I bet you, I think it was a year ago, okay? And I've had some parties since, but a year ago around this time, I went to Austin with some friends, watched the game, like enjoyed beer the whole time watching the UT game. And then we hit up 6th Street, and I remember going to Waffle House and immediately leaving after we sat down because I just was like gone. So the day after that, I was hurting. That's kind of how my Monday felt. Wasn't nauseous or anything, like pretty solid with that, stomach's pretty good to me, but Monday hurt. So I don't know. This beer is still kind of refreshing. Okay. Next topic, on to technology. So who's excited for some new Apple products? Okay. They had a big event this week. We were all waiting for it. Obviously this is the event that they would have had in like September, okay, where they would have released like iPads and iPhones, and what it would have been a theatrical event with the people on stage. Obviously COVID production set some things back. So Apple hosted this thing this month, just like they did in September, talking about the iPad Airs, but now they released the things we were waiting for, okay? Except for Apple TV. I know I've got some friends bummed they didn't mention anything about that, but they released the HomePod Mini. Honestly, don't really care about that. I think it's cool, but I don't like that the HomePod doesn't allow you to stream anything other than being related to Apple. So sure, Apple Music, podcasts, but no YouTube. Like you can't just get on something else and stream YouTube, so unless they change that, like where they are only specific to the Apple applications or stuff like that, like I'm out. I've got a Bose Revolve speaker that works really well for me. So I don't really care about the HomePod, but I think that type of system, and for $99, I can see how a family with multiple rooms in the house or something, you have one in the kitchen, one upstairs, or in the bedroom of the kids' room, and it's really cool, the integration. I love how Apple integrates their products and how you can use them across all of their products, their platforms. It syncs up. It's pretty great. So the use of Siri with the HomePod, you could, go to your car, you got the HomePod inside, and you could be waiting on somebody and be like, hey, tell them to hurry up, it's time to go. And then they'll get the notification to their phone because they are connected to the HomePod. So I think that's pretty dope. But again, for me, it's not a practical application because I love the Bose Revolve speaker. That thing is dope. I play YouTube off of it, Spotify, it doesn't matter. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, yeah, don't care about that. But they did announce the iPhone 12, which is awesome. I'm rocking the XS, and the XS is a pretty dope phone because prior to that, I had the 7. XS is awesome. I probably don't need to upgrade, but it would just be nice to, and the new cameras are dope. I'm considering going bigger. I'm not 100% sure. So, where are my Max listeners at? Is the Max worth it? Because when I look at the sizes, okay, the XS is at 5.8 inches right now, but the Pro, the 12 Pro would be at 6.1 inches, and the Max would put me at 6.7. So that's almost 1 inch bigger diagonal, excuse me, than the current phone I'm rocking. That's an extra inch. So if I sit here and I got a shirt in my pocket, if I put the phone I've got now in my pocket, hope I don't turn my camera off, but you know what I'm saying? That barely fits, but I'm sure I've got blazers, okay, where the pocket probably isn't going to be very Pro Max friendly. I'm just saying, it probably won't, so we'll see. I think the Max, I'm kind of really leaning towards the iPhone Pro, and that means I can pre-order it. When this episode releases, I'll be able to pre-order the iPhone Pro, the 12 Pro. Let me talk like I know what these things are called. The iPhone 12 Pro, okay? The Max might be too big for me. So here I am trying to decide on purchasing the $999, iPhone 12 Pro, or the Max at $1,099. Now, I'm not some luxury type of stuck-up dude. I'm really not. I'm not going to sit here argue over the $100 for a product. I knew I'd be upgrading to a new iPhone this year. So, word to the wise, if you know you're planning on something and Apple's going to release their phones, every September now. They used to do it like September and then in the spring, but now it's like every September they drop a new version of their phone. So if you know you're going to be upgrading, like budget for it. And honest with you, like I knew this year I'd be upgrading, so I saved up for it because I don't like to do the payment plans, the borrowing, right? If you're going to have an item that you use all the time, like for me, I like to feel like I own it. Okay. And I know, okay, there's that wise saying, like, if it flies, if it fucks, or if it floats, you lease it, right? It's a better option. But here it is, like it's a phone. I don't know if a phone is included in that. I mean, I use the phone all the time. Like, why not own the thing? So I'm not a fan of the payment plans. Like I've kind of looked into it. That's not my thing. So I'd rather just buy it outright instead of feeling like I have to pay something monthly. Like, man, subscriptions, all that shit, like bother me. You know what I mean? So anyway, I saved for it, but definitely like thanks to quarantine and all these months that like I couldn't party, it was easy for me to easily save up as well as enjoying other things. Now, that money that I was putting aside went into my Apple upgrades account, and I could have spent that money expanding my cigar humidor or buying new clothes, but I really wanted a new iPhone and definitely am going to get the iPad Air, so I saved it. I could have easily spent the money elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like, haven't really gone clothes shopping since the pandemic, but I saved my money, and I believe that if you want something in this life, you put your mind to it and get it. You know what I mean? You have to step away from a limited mindset and work towards the things that you want and go for it. Because the first moment you feel like something is out of your reach, you are already telling yourself that you can't have it. You put that limitation in your own mind and into motion that you can't have it. But honestly, if you feel that way about things, it's time to change that mentality. Okay, yes, I know. I shifted from talking about spending money on Apple products, luxury item, to a motivational message. But here it is. This message is important. I mean, I honestly spent years of my life wondering why other people had really nice designer clothes or newer technology, okay? Remember years I had like a shitty phone. Why? Like, and I would look at my friends who had really nice phones and be like, man, that'd be cool to have something like that. Instead, I got like some basic phone, you know? Or I also looked at like why other people were able to go on awesome trips. I limited myself with that type of attitude of questioning why I was lacking and started to change the way that I was thinking because that's not the right way to think, and came across that by watching like positive and inspirational videos and reading books about like happiness, being happy with yourself. Obviously, items and things, okay, don't make you happy. Experiences make you happy, all right? So it's not just being materialistic, but having goals. And if you want a really nice house, then start to believe that you can have that house, okay? But, you know, it's the experience and other things of life, you know? So once I started shifting my thinking, like no longer, you know, am I asking the questions on why I'm lacking, you know? But I do know that I can do things to get what I want. You know, can I get it now? Like if I'm interested in a product, can I get it now, pay for it, you know, without going in debt or anything? If not, then I, you know, have that self-conversation. Okay, what goals or what do I need to do to have it, or who do I need to know to get it? You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, and then it comes to like having goals, knowing what you want, reminding yourself every day, and then you make it happen, okay? So if you want something, don't sit there focusing on why you can't have it, and change that focus on what you can do to get it. You know, plan for the things that you want ahead of time. That way you never have to ask the question when you see something nice or something you're interested in and say, can I afford it? Because honestly, if that's the question you're asking, then you probably can't, okay? Like if you walk into a casino and you walk by some really nice tables and like Cosmopolitan or, you know, the Wynn, and the first question you ask is to the dealer, hey, what's the minimum? Then you can't afford it. Real talk. So you got to change that attitude, change your mindset, you know, and I think that you can benefit. So didn't mean to get on a tangent there, but I'm telling you, once I started to reshape my mindset towards not being limited and to change it to being productive, believing in myself, having a plan, setting goals, All right. Like Denzel Washington said, one of my favorite quotes is, dreams without goals are just dreams and they often lead to disappointments. It's true. So if you want something, put goals in place. I did it anyway. Are we good? Are you good? I'm good. I hope so. Okay, so I'm getting the iPhone 12. I saved for it. I don't mind paying the money straight up for it. It's not putting me in debt. It's not hurting any of my savings. It's in my budget account. I'm all good, okay? But I'm also waiting on the iPad Air email too. I thought they would have announced the date when they dropped the phones, because on the Apple Store it still says coming in October. So I think it's going to be one of those where back in, I think it was like March or April, they dropped the email that said, hey, it's here. And that was when they released the new iPad Pro. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to that email. But, I guess I'll be patient. But I already know like the cool, innovative stuff that I want to do with it here in the studio. I'm definitely going to get the Apple Pencil so that I can like write notes and create the outlines for my podcast and all that jazz and be as hands-on as I can be. Okay, so I'm excited for it. Let's go. Okay, next topic as we're rolling through here. I think my camera's going to die soon, so we'll cruise through this one. Been a great episode so far. All right, music. So last week we talked about me wanting to learn Creep by Radiohead, and it's all because I heard the awesome cover by Keena Grannis, right? So I did start to learn it. It's not a hard track. It only has 4 chords, but they're all bar chords. So all of my guitar players out there, this one's a challenge. Like, it's all bar chords. So honestly, like, my left hand grip will be so dope once I master this thing, because right now it gets so sore. Oh man, I've not, like, it's right there. It's that area between your pointer finger and your thumb from like pressing against the guitar. I don't know, but I know over time, you can increase your threshold of pain. The muscles will get stronger, but I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it's an awesome song. I absolutely love practicing and playing it, working on your arpeggiation. So anyway, told you guys I would do it. I'm doing it. All right. But new music that's hot in my playlist right now. Okay. It's music you've probably heard, popped up on like New Music or Hip Hop Radar. And I'm not usually a hip hop guy. I listen to a lot of like, tech house and dance music. But this one is The Woo by Pop Smoke featuring 50 Cent, Roddy Ricch. You guys know I'm a big fan of Roddy Ricch's music. Dude is fire. I think every track he's on is hot. Dude's from Compton, and if you don't know that, you will now. Like, this song is pretty dope. I'm not in love with the idea that 50 is using popular tags from like older songs like Candy Shop, but I think that happens when you're an artist and you're out of the game for a while. You just go to like old catchy things to reintroduce it to a new audience now, because Candy Shop came out in like 2004, 2005? It was 2004, I think. Maybe early 2005. So 15 years ago, like, there's people now listening to his music that probably weren't alive when that track was released. Like, they may have heard it after, but you get what I'm saying. So nonetheless, like the track. I think it's dope. I also like, Pop Smoke for the Night track. It's not the norm type of music that I listen to, but I like it. And, okay, I like the name Pop Smoke because it's a term used in the military. Now, usually that term is used on a Friday afternoon before a holiday, during an exercise, whatever, because that's usually like, hey, it's after lunch. Someone's like, yo, we're done. Time to pop smoke. That means GTFO, go the fuck home, get the hell out of here, all that jazz. You say pop smoke. So anyway, those are some of the songs that I've been listening to a lot this week. So if you haven't heard of them, check them out. Turn the bass up, enjoy it. Again, I don't always mention hip hop, but boom, I like all types. I'm open-minded, all right? I ain't got no type. All right. What's the sexiest and least sexiest name? Okay, so I've already got it, okay? The least sexy name, and I'm sorry for anybody out there, okay, Brenda. Haven't been attracted to it. Yeah, so that's, to me, that's the least sexy name is Brenda. I'm sorry, all Brendas out there. Maybe you got a nickname or something, but that's one for me. And I think the sexiest, okay, and now this one is, you're going to be like, way to think outside the box. But I think Britney is a sexy name. Could be that I had a crush on Britney Spears. I don't know. And I've only dated one Britney in my life, but I think it is a sexy name. It's cool because you can like have a nickname like Brit, whatever you want to do. Or say it's Britney, bitch. Okay, so that's it. So what about you guys? What's the sexiest and least sexy name that you can think of? No offense to anybody out there. To all the Brendas, I'm sure you're awesome if you're listening, okay? Anyway, guys, this has been an awesome episode. Thank you for tuning in to The Output with me, DJ Unprotected. I love you guys. This is a great season. All right, this podcast is presented by Aztec Nation. If you get a moment, you want to check out the company, because if you're like, dude, who's Aztec Nation? And they're pushing these podcasts. Well, check it out. Starting today, AztecNation.com. You can check it out. I think it's AztecNation.com, but the website is out. It's going to be hot. So I invite you guys to go check out the company because we're doing amazing things. I'm super proud to be a part of the organization and glad they asked me to host my own show. This is dope. So I hope you're picking up what we're putting out. We got a lot to say. Tune in on your favorite streaming platform next week for a brand new episode, which we will have a guest, and it will be the electronic music group called Morning, straight out of San Antonio. So it's going to be a great episode. Love talking to other DJs and musicians. I've actually played music along those guys, so it's going to be sweet. We're going to check out the Morning, all right? So we'll see you next week. It's time to pop smoke, y'all. We out.